सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं Namaste. Yes. So before we begin, I request, as usual, our admin Chitraji to give a summary of what we've covered last.
Yeah, Hari Om. The topic of discussion in the previous session was on the victorious mindset versus defeated mindset. So Krishna explains Arjuna the qualities of a yogi, and then he goes on to describe what makes a person weak-minded or carry a defeated mindset. So a person who has deep rooted attachments, basically, the mind which has deep rooted attachments and is driven by desires. And because of these desires, which in turn cause agitation and anger, such a person mind is driven by delusion, and which in turn disturbs such a person's memory. Due to clouded memory, his wisdom is destroyed, and it further leads to his own destruction. This is something that we saw Krishna explaining about how a defeated mind looks like. And whereas on the other side, the victorious mindset, or a person, a victor, the mind of a victor, Krishna calls such a person as a Jitendra, because he has conquered all his senses, and he knows that having sense over his senses under his control is of utmost importance, and he focuses and meditates on God. He's overcome all the distractions, and his intelligence is awakened. He is free from the lower emotions of jealousy, anger, and he is not trapped in Maya. So, such a person is blessed with an eternal flow of happiness, and he is no longer unhappy, which allows him to attain the wisdom of the higher truth. So, this is something we saw in the previous
Yeah,
class.
thank you. Thank you,
Hari
Chitraji.
Om.
Hari Om. Yes, so this aspect of a defeated mind and the mind of a victor, it is the same person only. Sometimes we have become our own enemies when we have a defeated mind. When we have already, before the battle has begun, we decide to give up. That is the defeated mind. That is the Arjuna's consciousness at the moment. Battle has not started, but he says, no, I don't see any point in it. Same Arjuna tells in the last chapter. Gator mohaha smrutir labdhva tvat prasadan maya chuta stitos migata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Means he has become sthita, sthita prajna. We saw that. What is the bhasha of sthita prajna? What is the way? Somebody who is having dhira, who is having this depth, who is so calm and peaceful on the inside. It does not mean such a person will not display aggression on the outside, but the person is in control of every word that is spoken. That is the person who is a completely balanced and awakened individual. Such a person's mind is the mind that the divine prefers. And because the divine prefers such a mind, because this mind is readily receptive, newer concepts are introduced into that mind. Meaning, if we want to receive from the divine, we will have to start becoming the victor. And there is one way of becoming the victor, that is by service to the divine, service to the Guru. Many times, what happens is our own attachments, our own thoughts, our own sometimes preconceived notions, they come in the way. And when they come in the way, we don't really understand what's going on. That is why we are lost. We're lost because we don't understand, and then we, in that confusion, we try to further complicate matters instead of just trying to look at what is the base, look at what is, like, for example, look at Arjuna, what he had to do. He was a warrior. Ask a child, what does a warrior do? The child will say the warrior has to fight. It's so simple as that. The child need not know anything. He just knows what's the meaning of a warrior, and that child will tell a warrior has to fight. Means that is the way. So, does a sadhak have to fight? Anybody? What do you think? Does a sadhak have to fight? Are there battles that the sadhak has to fight? Yes, Shashiji.
Yes, you don't have to be a sadhak if to fight battles constantly. If you're aware that you want to be on a certain path, it starts with what comes in your mind, what comes out of your mouth. So there are battles all the time.
All the time there are battles.
Yeah.
There are hurdles also, isn't it?
Yes,
Sometimes
those
there
are
are
tests.
thorns. Sometimes there are thorns on the path. So, but the sadhak has to go on, no? Can you say there are thorns on the path? I didn't get a red carpet entry. I wanted a red carpet entry. I wanted the entire world to be showering roses upon me. But look, I have been given thorns. But I think that is the way, isn't it? Is there any great one who has got direct red carpet entry? No, it does not, because this is the entire aspect of struggle gives the strength. Somebody may feel this is not required, it is not necessary. Like a young botanist saw a butterfly trying to struggle and wiggle out of a pupa. He thought, I'll help that butterfly. This butterfly is so delicate, it is not able to come out of the pupa. Let me lightly help that by tearing a little bit portion of the pupa. And that young botanist who didn't have experience did that. And what happened after that? He was shocked. That butterfly was crippled forever because of that struggle. Because of that struggle, this strength came in the wings. And that is how, I mean, the strength comes into the wings of a butterfly. Then it learns to fly. So, meaning all those hurdles. Elsewhere, Krishna says we have to cheerfully brace the hurdles, no matter what. What hurdles come? Arjuna has got the biggest hurdle. His own revered ones are standing against him. The ones who he cared for, the ones who he loved the most, or more than love, we can say the ones who he had attachments for. They are only standing against him. And then that is where the entire fall happens, isn't it? So that is where he gets defeated. So we need to recognize, we need to course correct sometimes. We all make mistakes, but important aspect is to recognize the mistake and then go ahead because the battle is not in movies only we have happy endings, no? Movie gets over and then there are credits. But in life, every day there is no great high moment comes and immediately comes a new low moment, a moment which now someone never anticipates also. Suddenly the hero becomes the villain. Picture is not over. Picture goes on. So this aspect of our life, we must remember that this is a conscious play between, it's like a, we shouldn't keep swinging from defeated mind and big mind of a victor. We have to try to become steady because we are not pendulums. That will only keep fluctuating and oscillating. But if we are sadhaks, we have decided we want to remain balanced, that is something we must choose. So today the topic which we are going to look at is actually Arjuna's question, because when Krishna is telling Arjuna, he become firm. Listen, Arjuna, you have to have that steadiness. You have to have that sthita prajna. You have to be in that balance at all times. You must live a spiritual life which is conscious. Arjuna gets very confused. You just look at it. What does he ask? In the third adhyaya, he says he accuses the Guru only. He accuses Krishna only. What does he say? Let us look at the shloka. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojasi keshava. Oh Krishna, haven't you just said what is superior? That spiritual knowledge over material action is better? Then why is it that you coerce me into action? This ghastly karma on me, why do you sanction? Which karma? His duty only, no? His yuddha he has to do. But now he has been introduced to a concept of an Atman. What is this Atman? This Atman is the supreme one which does not, which cannot be cut, which cannot, it is like immortal. It's like playing a game with a cheat code where you don't lose. I mean, that's so fun, but that's not a real thing, isn't it? If here he has got introduced to the Atman, but has he experienced it? Has he become one with that? No, he has not. And until that oneness is established, there is going to be a fluctuation, this kind of dvaita. So he says, I am confused. Can't you tell me one thing? You are asking me to become free. Then you are giving me rules also at the same time. How confusing is this? Can you not tell me properly? He actually goes on telling Krishna ki you are talking of both sides. Didn't you just tell me that spiritual action is better? I mean, how many of us would like to leave our jobs and go and live in a retreat, a spiritual retreat? Get up in the morning, get nice, fresh cut fruits, then take out your favorite spiritual book, read it, then discuss about it some more time, then get some nice power nap in the afternoon, then again get up, do something else. I think it's all so much fun and it's so interesting. But suddenly that dream gets shattered. The neighbor comes and says, what nonsense, you are parking the vehicle like this. You know, like, hey, I was thinking about something else. What does this man come here? He's not even talking in proper language. But no, we have got disturbed. But actually, in our life also, if we recognize the divine is present everywhere, he may come and from to create a disturbance, and we should not get disturbed. We must remain. But Arjuna has not understood this right now. So that's why he asks Krishna, why? Why is it, Krishna, that you are talking about both sides? I don't really understand. This is it is a very big question. A lot of people feel spiritual life. I am leading a spiritual life, some people say now. Another person says, I am leading a material life. But are these really so different, these two lives? Does the spiritual person suddenly get some kind of extra upthrust or suddenly levitation starts happening? Years fall off from that person because this person is spiritual. Instead of ears, there are two horns or a halo. God knows what happens. Is there a difference between the spiritual and the material in morphological aspects or even other aspects? Is there a difference in the two worlds? Are they so opposite? Anybody? What do you think?
They are, they're both different and yet the same.
Gee, they are both different
Um,
and yet the same. Hmm.
well, they there is an interconnectedness.
Hmm.
Um, the material world, it's subject to change, it's temporary, and the spiritual
But
world is
spiritual world
eternal.
also is people in spiritual world keep changing every day. Today the person says I'm doing this Raudra sadhana, so I'm angry, and you can see Rudra. Next day becomes Shanta. Next third day is something else.
But it's the person changing. The spiritual world is not changing, it's
But
him.
where is the spiritual world if not on this plane? Which other plane is it there? Is it not in this plane? The spiritual world.
No,
It's not in this plane.
no.
Okay,
You,
Shashiji is suggesting that there is another spiritual world which
Yeah,
is not directly.
well,
Yes. Yes, sir.
spiritual spiritual plane is also very much in this world, and
Hmm.
it's all in our mind. And a spiritual person has a different approach
And
towards
the
life.
plane is inside of the mind, is it, sir? You're saying the plane is in the
Yeah,
mind, or but what
it's
about
all in
the?
the mind and our own approach.
No, but then sometimes, like my mind has so many things which keep changing.
Hmm.
Today I have something in the mind. So does the spiritual world also keep changing like the mind then? If we attribute properties of the mind to the spiritual world, mind keeps changing all the time. It's
No,
chanchala also.
yeah, what I meant was the difference between a spiritual person and a normal or a different person, a sansari, is the approach towards the life. They both
Okay.
need to live the same life, but
Hmm.
their approach is different.
Their
Spiritual person
approach is
lives with more
different.
detachment.
Okay. All right. That is interesting what sir has said. Daveji, sir, what is your first name, sir?
Yeah, Parthesh.
Parthesh ji. Okay. Yes. So if you just before I come to Payalji or Chaitanyaji, just what Pathaji shared was something very interesting because in the very last adhyaya, there's a shloka talking about the same thing. If you look at shloka number 69 of the second adhyaya, या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागर्ति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः. There is a Muni and there is the other person, the general people who are trapped in the mundane world. And there is that Muni, and for them it is very opposite. He says, for what is night for those lost in the material dreams? It is day for to the dwellers of the spiritual dreams. And what is day for the seekers of the material mundane? It is darkness to the illumined man of the spiritual plane. Meaning, for somebody who is living in the material world, this is the most beautiful and lovely thing. What can be there better than this? The spiritual minded person can see, hey, what is this darkness? This is darkness. And the person, no, this is not darkness. This is everything I care for. I, I stand for this only. But how is it? It is not like there one person is having day and another person is night because one is in America, another in India. This is the perspective, as Padheshi said. It is a perspective. For some people, but it's the same world, but perspective varies. Payalji is adding something. Yes,
Just I want to ask, like, can it be self-control that can
hmm.
lead us to spiritual world more? I mean, it is both the worlds are in our minds as
No, actually,
uh,
their worlds are not in the minds. Our minds are embedded in this world, but this world has spiritual dimension, material dimensions, and both these dimensions
yes.
intersect. These are always intersecting, influencing each other. And Krishna says this Bhuloka is the very interesting plane where the manifestation takes place. Avatar also descends here only, no? Why he can't descend anywhere else? It is this place. Krishna in the Gita says, Ihaiva Tejita Sargo. Here only in this world itself. Arvind is adding something to what Payal ji has
Thank
said.
you.
Yes, sir.
I just recall the example you have given some time back. Monk in a Ferrari.
Janaka Raja. Yes, yes, sir.
Raja, monk in a Ferrari. You need not
Yes.
be, you need not discard the Ferrari, but still you can be monk.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Means this aspect of living in this world, becoming conscious, and at the same time not getting attached. But is this easy or is this challenging?
It is challenging.
Challenging.
It is challenging.
Challenging, isn't it? That is why Arjuna is saying, Yat kim karmani ghore ma, what ghore karma, what dirty action you are asking me to, what horrible action you are asking me to do, when you have just talked to me about the brilliance of the spiritual dream. Chaitanya ji, yes, sir. Yes, ji.
Yeah, I think he's experiencing that effect of his spiritual state on his material life, and that is something he's not probably realizing, and that's why he is in that kind of situation of his mind where he's trying to find the right thing but not able to do it because he's not understanding that there is a spiritual state which is actually affecting his material life.
Yeah. So, and Krishna wants Arjuna to do both. He says, Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna, before going into the battle. He's asking him to become a yogi, meaning become somebody who is awakened, become the conscious person, and yet don't neglect this material world. It is so difficult. So many say, how is it possible? You either do sansara or you do adhyatma. You can't do both. You can't have the best of both worlds. That is what many say. But you look at all our arathyas, look at all our gods whom we worship. They did live both the worlds, isn't it?
Yes, they lived both life.
Yes. Look at how Shiva is called. He's like Janma Janma. There's a beautiful Geet bhajan about Shiva. It is like Mage Ubha Mangesh, Pude Ubha Mangesh, speaking about presence of the Shiva in the front and in the back. That time he gives the description: Janma Janma Chaha Yogi, Sansari Ananda Bhogi. Means this birth after birth, this yogi, he is living. For many births, he is doing this yoga sadhana. And yet he is taking the bhoga of the sansara. So then the singer asks a question, Virage ki manu bhogi? Should I call him Virage or should I call him a bhogi? That's the question. And it's a rhetorical question which has no answer. Because you can't really, what will you say? Will you call it bhogi or will you call it yo? Who is that a yogi? Look at Krishna. Yogeshwara Krishna used to steal butter. How can how can somebody steal butter? Look at the great avatar who was we celebrate Janmashtami with so much pomp and so much love. But when the Janma took place, where was he born? He was in jail directly. Born there, born in jail. How difficult is that for the avatar? But all these examples keep coming in front of us in the form of Sri Rama. You see, he goes on an exile, isn't it? Why does he go on an exile? Why does a great avatar go on an exile? Because somebody said something. Really? Just because somebody said something? Or there was something higher behind it? So every single place, if you look at it, this our Adhyatma teaches us that we cannot negate this material world. Or there was a song when I was in college, they say, where will you run when you're scared from yourself? Where you gonna go? Salvation is here. That's what it says. Means which place? Moksha is here. Krishna, Sri Aurobindo in his Upanishad also talks about a terrestrial salvation, a shaha moksha. This moksha will allow you to become a conscious participant of the game of the divine. What is the ananda which is experienced by taking bhoga in the lila of Krishna. There's a game of Krishna which we don't understand. It becomes quite complicated. Sometimes it overwhelms us because we don't understand what's happening. We try, but we fail. Then there are tears. This is a cycle of human existence. But tears are also because of the emotions, isn't it? We have not transcended emotions. When are we going to taste the ananda? We'll have to get that. We'll have to rise there because until that happens, we will be trapped in Maya, not getting the chance. It's like you're not being allowed. All our friends, imagine when you were kids, you would see, isn't it? Your friends are going to play and you're not getting chance to play because you have been given a book to read for some school project or test. Out of the window, you would see, and oh God, look at this, how unfair it is. Well, something similar is happening. A lot of yogis are deciding to consciously be part of this game of the divine, the Krida of Krishna, and they are consciously partaking in it. But here we are sometimes looking out from the window, okay, oh no, when will I get a turn? Maybe not this birth. Sometimes we feel not in this plane, another world, maybe later. But it is here, it is here, it is never late. Krishna also says the same thing. Krishna says, I also took many births to reach this Krishnahood. Arjuna, you also came to this place after so many births, meaning we are all in a part of some kind of continuum of consciousness which has been going on, which is Anadi and Ananta, which is going on for a long time, which we are not aware of. So, probably becoming aware is important. That's what Krishna is saying. Because what is after receiving everything, Arjuna still says, I'm so confused. Because look, another shloka he says, at first he says, boss, tell me clearly. Don't confuse me. Tell me one side, either you tell me spiritual path, I'll happily go on that path of spiritual. Tell me all austerities I'll practice. I'll stand on one hand also, one leg also. I'll do any sadhana you are asking me to do. If you tell me clearly, he says like this, clearly you tell, not like this because he's confused. But the interesting aspect is Krishna is not ordering Arjuna anything. Arjuna wants only orders. Give me order. Attack. I'll attack. But no, Krishna does not. He does not say till the 18th chapter. In 18th chapter also, he says, do what you want. Yathe chasi tatha kuru. I have told you all that I wanted to say. Somebody who is clear will understand with first line also what Krishna has told. Arjuna became clear little later on. So that is why he didn't understand, because his next shlok, he says clearly, he says, Vyame shreneva vakyena buddhim mohaya siva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. He says, Arey, tell me clearly. One thing you tell, no? One side you're giving me freedom to do what I want. You're telling me I am free. And second side, you're putting so many rules onto me. This has to be done, this is not, look at this is not allowed. I came to this sadhana with the aspiration of freedom, and now I am getting rules. What is the meaning of this? This kind of Dvaita enters into the mind. And that is exactly what has happened to our Arjuna. He says, my mind stands confused and disarrayed, for it fully understands not what you have said. Hence, show me which is the correct way. What will benefit me? I request you to please say. So here the boss is saying, see, give me clearly what is beneficial to me. This is a swartha which is required, isn't it? We forget that. This much swartha is required, isn't it? Selfishness, they say, is a problem, but this is a different type of one. And sometimes we have to become selfish here. For swadharma, what is this? When we say sarve bhavantu sukhina, it is what my Guruji always says, it is the most selfish prayer in the world. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu nirama. Why? Arre, I want to be happy. I will be happy only when everybody I know and am connected with are happy. If I am the source of trouble to everybody else, then I will feel disturbed. So I want everybody to be happy because I want to be happy, no? So again, it is coming back to us. So here he says, yat shreya. He says, what is shreya? Shreyoham. Yena shreyoham apnuyam. Tell me what is right, which will allow me to go ahead. That is his question. Sometimes we have to recognize that we get lost. We get lost in our own emotions, which we sometimes try to. In psychology, there is something called projection. Has anybody heard of this? Projecting, projections. Anybody? If you have heard something about it. Yes, Umaji?
So basically, if you basically if somebody has a problem and then they project it on somebody or a particular incident or circumstance and wash themselves away from it and say it's I did this because of that.
Hmm.
Basically projecting it on something or somebody.
And we keep reinforcing our own thought no matter what happens, because you're not seeing the other object. You're only seeing the projection of your own idea and your own belief. So what
Yeah.
I know, that only I'll keep throwing. It's like there's a mirror in front of me, in front of everybody who comes. You don't see that individual, but you see yourself and your idea and your vision. You just reinforce every input that comes, reinforces what you want to say only. And that is something which is the problem. And I think, thank you, Omaji, that was perfectly said. It's something psychology that is considered very important to understand and stay away from. But unknowingly we do that. And that is what we have to be wary of. So Krishna clearly says here, if you see, one thing is he's thinking material world and spiritual world are different. I can't, if I'm in the material world, I don't have to practice detachment. And Arjuna feels I don't have to practice detachment if I'm in the material world, or if I'm in the spiritual world, I don't have to have any connection with the world. I don't have to have any connection with the people. But is this possible? It's not possible. Forget possible, it is not even practical, isn't it? How is it even practical? Can we just suddenly get disconnected from everything in the world? We are going to be breathing the consciousness of the world only. We're going to keep walking around, meeting people of the world. Say you are going away somewhere, somebody is going to provide something to you. Because now we are not living in forests where we can go and collect our own food, and now we have to rely on different people, different places. Meaning, even if we don't want, we are going to be involved with people and things and all of it. So, in spite of all that involvement, we have to figure out the middle path. And that is what Krishna does. Let us look at the fourth shloka. Na karmana manarambhan naishkarmyam purushoshnute na cha sanyas sanadeva siddhim samadhi gacchati. A state of detached action in works can't be reached without man's beginning and performing the action. And great spiritual boundaries can't be breached by physically renouncing all the works or by inaction. Is a very important message Krishna says to all of us here. Means if you want to experience the joy of detachment, you'll have to first perform the right action, isn't it? Today, a very big player announced his retirement. Who's done so much work and so wonderfully he has played, and now he announced retire. I look at the news and say, I am also retiring from that sport today. Well, does it make sense? Not possible. No, I've not played that sport. Only where is the question of retirement? Somebody who has done something, that person only can speak about detachment. Somebody who has entered into the field. Like it's like there's one guy sleeping on the couch all day, not moving at all, just watching something continuously, couch potato, what we call it. And suddenly a friend comes in, he says, Oh, I just managed. I didn't get wet in the rain. This person gives a yawn and says, I also didn't get wet in the rain. But there's a difference, isn't it? This person has not moved. He's not moved from the couch. Here is a person who's gone outside, done everything. And then he says, Yes, I made it in time. So this aspect is important. We cannot reach a state of detachment until we perform actions. Means we'll have to understand, we'll have to learn, because with detachment only you can do true things. Otherwise, they're all selfish projections of our desires. I want this person to do this for me. I want this. I want that. All desires everywhere. See, this person didn't fulfill this one desire that I had. At least this person should have spoken to me. At least I should have got this. I have done this. I should have got this much in return. Every single place we move around, we have this barter going on or some kind of business transaction. We go to temples also and start praying, see, God, give me one signal. Then I will do this. If you don't give signal, then I'll not do. Or one person goes and says, no matter what, I should get promotion. Now his neighbor comes and prays, no matter what, this person should not get promotion. Now who is God going to listen to? Whose mantra is going to be more powerful there? The one who is asking for promotion or who is blocking the promotion? It's going to be the karma of the individual. The one who has done the actions, who has done the right action will allow that person to move forward. That is what makes the difference. Entire difference is there. Without beginning or performing action, you cannot claim to experience the joys of detachment. Great spiritual boundaries can't be breached by physically renouncing all the works or by inaction. This is also an important thing for all of us. Krishna is giving this as a practical message for every warrior, every sadhak who is walking on the path. 5,000 years ago, this golden message was given. It's so, so valuable even today. Go to any place in the world, any circumstance, anywhere, it is the same thing. Don't practice detachment, you will not experience what true love is. Don't practice detachment, you will not have trupti, you will not have satisfaction of doing something. Don't practice detachment, you're going to spoil even the good things that you have done. It's everywhere the same principle. It does not matter which place where you are. And that is what Krishna is trying to tell. He says, see, you think you are going to escape from actions, but you are not going to because everybody is bound in this bhuloka. If you see, nahi kaschit shanamapi jato, the fifth one of this adhyay, 3.5. Nahi kaschit shanamapi jato, tishtatya karma krut, karyate yavashah karma, Sarvaha Prakriti Jair Gunaihi. Not a single such moment can pass for man, as without engaging in activity, exist no one can. This nature's qualities on all beings has been endowed. A bond of works and actions on man has been bestowed. Meaning, no matter what I try to insulate myself, I try to insulate myself from doing certain things. I will still be bound in the loop of karma. A fight is going on between your loved one and another person who is a unjust person. Can you sit back and just say it's not my fight? Somebody will say, yeah, I can do it. But then you allow injustice to flare, it is going to come to you. And you may think I am not doing anything wrong or I am neutral. But this is not neutrality, isn't it? Neutral non action is also an action, no? I chose to not act when I should have acted, when I should have done something. What does that imply? What does that indicate? That means I am on the side of falsehood. I am not supporting the truth. Just maybe I am not directly jumping onto the side of falsehood, but I have got pushed into it. So many, what we can say, when it's a dharma yuddha, it is so clear. The line is very clear. You are either for dharma or you are against dharma. There is no cat on the wall. Cat on the wall is also against dharma. Because when the call comes, call of duty, call of the moment, call of the divine is there, we have to listen to that call and not get lost in anything else. So that is important. Not a single moment goes. Meaning, say somebody may ask, what are you doing? You may say, I am doing nothing, sitting. But now maybe I may be sitting, I may be listening to something. I may be listening to somebody speak. While I am listening to that, my mind is also processing things. I have a pool of experience behind me. I am trying to connect those things with the experiences that I am going through. And if you look at it, each and everyone, if we just had the ability to project right now, I think a proper projection of what is the connection that we make from a Gita shloka. I think it would be a brilliant kaleidoscope of experiences of so many people because that will allow us to understand the Gita better only. Because one shloka will give so many different things because that is what processes happen. Some have lived a longer life, so they have a rich and more varied, diverse experiences. And experience comes from experience only, isn't it? Anubhava will come, Anubhuti will come again from the Anubhava only. If that is not there, it will not. So, this aspect of doing action, every moment it happens. Heart is performing its action, digestive system is performing its action, eyes are performing their action. Every single person at all times. We do some work immediately. Work also is when you do one work, another work comes up. When that happens, another, but you have to engage in that. And that is what Krishna is saying. So Arjuna might be thinking, I'm going to find an escape route. He is not going to find it. He will have to do it sometime or the other. Just because the path is not to his liking, Arjuna cannot escape from the inevitable truth. He has to walk on a path which is going to be difficult. It's going to be very challenging. He may try to ignore, but you cannot ignore it. It will come on to him. So one must fully and clearly understand that we can't afford to divide the material world and spiritual world. We can't live in compartments, isn't it? Somebody, if say I am talking certain things and I don't live that. Many times I don't live exactly. Gita is such a big challenge to live that it is important. I would not try to make myself humble by calling it a big challenge, but even the simplest things sometimes by nature, by default, by sanskara, all of these things they control. Nature is powerful, isn't it? Maya suddenly starts working and then we forget the principle. Krishna told us, he said, remember to be detached. I get excited in certain things and immediately I get trapped. And I've done an action. Can I say, oh, I'm sorry, I was not aware, so spare me from the consequences? Will Krishna listen? I ask him, hey, CC, I have, I can negotiate. Hey, CC, I have been talking about you, so many people, so can you spare me? Will Krishna do that? Should Krishna do that is a bigger question. Yes or no?
No.
No, isn't it? It's a consequence of an action. A wrong action will have its consequence. What I can do maximum is try to learn from it, try to course correct, and then go ahead on the path. I can't escape, and this is the beauty of this bhuloka, this world also. So if we do it consciously, otherwise we will be trapped in our mind, and before we know it, or sometimes the carpet is pulled from under our feet, and we don't even know what comes and hits us if we live in that type of la la land. So it's important to see both these because sometimes people think like that. People sometimes say, no, no, God will do everything. Will God really do everything? Then why has He created the world? Why has He given you a Kshetra? Why has He given weapon to Arjuna? Why has He chosen to be a charioteer and not a warrior? Why has He promised I will not participate in the war, but I will support Arjuna and I will make him the right warrior to participate in the right manner? All of this is because of a simple, clear reason that yes, this material world matters and the actions must be done here. Krishna goes on, he says, कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते. A way to physically control the senses a man may find. But if he constantly thinks of the senses in his mind, he is caught up in self discipline's wrong notion. Such a being is beguiled by his misplaced devotion. Something where a person is having a good devotion, all right, but it is misplaced because this person is trapped in the mind only. Someone who is thinking, okay, I've learned to control my senses. Oh, I am Jitendra. I have this declaration itself is a very strong declaration to make. Somebody who, because among the Indriyas also, there's also Ahankar comes in, all Indriyas stop functioning properly. Control over Indriyas goes away. So I have become Jitendra. The day you say that, all Indriyas will say, ha, acha, we'll see. We'll show you. And immediately the person falls flat. Well, this is it. But say somebody says, I have found a way to control all my senses. But if he constantly thinks of the senses in his mind, he's caught up with this, with self-discipline's wrong notion. And such a person is beguiled by a misplaced devotion, meaning this person has not understood the base. He has to yet understand the secret. It was a story, I'm not very sure. I heard it in school about Socrates getting a student coming to Socrates from far. He started showing off, I know this, I know that, I know this. You have to accept me as a student because he's got a very good resume. Now, that is not how a guru does not care, isn't it? The truth is only what matters. So here, Socrates says, okay, I may accept you under one condition. Go home. And he says, yes, 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 please give me any test. He says, wait, let me finish. I have not given you. Go home and don't think of tomatoes. That's all. They say, that's so easy. Then he goes, no, there must
Ah,
be
so
some kind of.
imagine only tomatoes, tomatoes,
Yeah,
tomatoes.
yes, yes. The next day he comes and he falls at the feet saying, see, I was only thinking of tomatoes. Why? Because his mind is still trapped, isn't it? He's still trapped in his intellect and in the mind. A lot of people read a lot of things. Even I would bring myself into that same category. I read so many things, and then if I live in those things only without looking at it practically, what will that be? That will be again a misplaced devotion, the wrong aspects everywhere, just projecting what I have read everywhere without trying to learn what is there. The world is there to teach us from everybody. Krishna can come and teach us from a milkman also. Krishna can come and teach from a, even from a, we can say, a crow can also come and teach us suddenly something if we are willing to learn. But if we are trapped in our own minds, we will never learn, and that is the very sad circle of Maya where we get into that traps. Then we don't get freedom. Krishna just says, why is it important? Because unless you sacrifice all, you are not going to be free unless you truly become detached. We sometimes feel we have to be attached to our loved ones. If I am not attached with my loved ones, then my loved ones will not care for me. Swartha, no? If I am not attached, then how will I be able to take proper care? Another type of misplaced devotion. Without attachment also, it is possible. It is possible. It is important to understand that. And that is entirely the Gita which tells us. Because otherwise, what happens everywhere? My dear Kauravan, my dear son, my dear Duryodhana. This is all Dhritarashtra kept thinking. He was somebody like a Jitendra because you see he could not see and yet he could fight. How could that be possible? When he developed his skills, he was alert. He could walk around knowing exactly what is there. Well, this is brilliant, isn't it? Such a brilliant person with such great talent. How can he do such a big mistake? Somebody may ask. Well, we shouldn't get shocked. It is the attachment only. Mama kaha pandavaschaiva. Somebody, this is my beloved, my friend, my lover, my brother, my sister, my. And then you forget the truth. Then God has to send an arrow from somewhere, and then sometimes it's difficult to get back on track. But then you have to stand up, you have to go ahead. This is the way Krishna is telling. He says, Niyatam kuru karma, tvam karma jayo hyakarmanaha, sharira yatra pichatena prasiddheda karmanaha. Without attachment, perform your every action. Because, why? Because action always supersedes inaction. So simple as that. Without attachment, perform your every action because action always supersedes inaction. Even your life, even your body's life journey cannot be sustained without action. No accomplishment can be attained. How clear is that? The Sharira Yatra of this body is like our vehicle, isn't it? For a life experience. We have to maintain it, isn't it? I don't take care of my body. What life am I going to lead? How long will I live? My car will break down before reaching the destination. What's the use then? So again, how will I take care is by action only, isn't it? So Krishna says just any action has to be done with detachment, but understand every action needs to be done because it's always important to do what you need to do. It is important. Look at your body also. You cannot imagine if you stop taking care of your body. What will happen? Nothing. What will happen to your dreams? What will happen to your aspirations? What will happen to all those plans that you make? They'll go to dust. Why? No, no, I'm not very worried about my body. I think about spiritual things. What's the use? Someone suddenly got very, very excited because that person felt he has achieved something great spiritually inside of his body. Kundalini has got Jagrut. So happy he was. Next thing, he got admitted in hospital because he was not having Jagruti, he was having hypoglycemia. But he projected it as Jagruti. Means here, has the body been taken care of? No, it's not. And so it's responded immediately. Luckily, the treatment can be done and the person can become free. Well, this is important to take care. Means we should not neglect the body. And sometimes in the spiritual path, they say, oh, your body is just bones and flesh. And actually, one of the teachers for the children's batch, she was trying to teach and she suddenly gave in a demo. Luckily, it was not in the front of children. It was a demo before the taking the class for kids. You're basically dead cells only inside of your body. Everything is going to decay. She started speaking like this. Imagine telling this to the little children. Gita is teaching this. All the parents will come after the organization only. What are you teaching the children? And where is the joy? Is the body so ugly and dirty? Or if you become conscious, the body is the instrument of the divine. Prana Shariram Gruham. In Shiva Manas Puja, Adi Shankaracharya creates a great temple only inside of his mind, and then he goes, does this, the pradakshina, this veena, everything. Well, that's becoming conscious. That's becoming conscious of the mind in that Shiva Manas Puja, but like that, our body also, because Krishna says later on in the Gita, Nimitta Matra Bhava Savya Sachin, become my instrument, become the medium for my action. So then we have to become strong. If our body is not physically strong, it's all right. Everybody's prakriti is different, but we have to work on it, no? Instead of no, I am like this, if we say it will not work. Everybody and everybody's body has weakness or not. Is everybody's body perfect? No. So many are there. When you just look deeper, you will see. Sometimes people do a test and pura kacha chitta aa jate hain. Outside everything looks fine and fit, and suddenly on the inside you say, oh, what is all of this? Because that is the truth. And in this world, we have to become conscious and we have to start taking care, because if we do not take care, simple thing is we'll not be able to move ahead. And what sadhana will be possible? Which spiritual achievement can be got by not taking care of the body at all? Nothing. So that is important. Krishna is saying this material and spiritual. Arjuna, stop creating that divide. There is no divide. There is no divide in these two worlds. They are very much one. We'll stop with one more shloka here, which Krishna says, this is again a secret of the Karma Yoga. How can you become free? It's important to practice it. It is very, very important to fully realize it in our actions. Krishna says, Yajnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangaha samacharaha. A beautiful explanation or definition of detachment. English detachment sounds so cruel. Mother becoming detached from child. Oh, what is this? Father is saying, I'm detached. Most of the times people say, I'm going to get detached. I'm going to go to Himalayas. In most of the fights which happen in the house, they say the one spouse says to the other, enough of it. I'm going to go now to the Himalayas. Really, if the person is detached, the person will not say that. Yeah, best way to test is, yeah, here is the bag. Take. There's no action after that. Because it's not real detachment. And real meaning of detachment is here. Mukta Sangaha. This is a beautiful. Just look at the two words. Sangha means what? Attachment or oneness. United. United. Mukta means free.
Free.
So how can somebody be freely united? Can be free, and these are like opposite words, isn't it? Free and united. Either you make me free, I'll do whatever I want, or keep me bound, make these rules and impose. But I don't think we like any of this, no? Both these extremes are troublesome, isn't it? Say in relation, give full freedom, let me do anything. I'll not care about you, I'll not care about anybody else. Will that relationship sustain? It will not. And there in relationship, there are only restrictions all the time. That also will not sustain. So, what is this? Is Suvarna Madhya, the middle path, this free union. That is exactly what Krishna is talking about. And that is true love also. Mukta Sangha Samachara. There it is like how it should be always. Whichever relation we experience, whichever relation we follow or we understand, whatever it is, even with God and man, whichever relation you take between friends, take between partners, take between the student and the teacher, take between the seeker and the aradhya. Let that freedom be there. Krishna has given that freedom is visible in the Gita, isn't it? He allows Arjuna to ask any question that he wants, because in that freedom only there is a growth. That possibility is there. And here you see Krishna says, except the actions that are performed in a state of sacrifice, chained to karma's bonds, are all actions done otherwise. That is why, O Arjuna, your actions you regulate with the freedom of detachment, as I postulate. Means Detachment in the sense here, it is this Mukta Sangha becomes so free that you don't have any liability. How do we become so free when we have so many positions? How can we become free? That is the biggest question, isn't it? Everywhere I see my position and I have to protect my position because there's a chore. Thief is there. But Krishna is also a thief who steals hearts, isn't it? And what happens when Krishna steals somebody's heart? Cardiac arrest. What happens when he does that? Well, that person becomes transformed, that person becomes divine. Well, this aspect of experiencing the free union will have to be done properly by surrendering to the divine. Krishna says, I mean, in the Isha Upanishad, it is said, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha Magruda Kasya Svidhanam. Don't lust after somebody else's wealth. All that belongs to the divine. If you say everything belongs to the divine, are you going to be afraid of losing something? No. If everything belongs to the divine, who is in control of everything? The owner,
The
isn't it? The owner is the divine is in control. I only created this kind of feeling sometimes people have for good things as well as bad things. The good things, ahankar, higher ahankar comes. See, I only did this because of me, only this works. If it's not for me, nothing will work. Again, a trap. And something bad happens. No, see, I only created all of this because of me, only all these problems. Nothing is working. I am the source of all the trouble. Both are the same thing because you are thinking you are the creator when the creator is the divine, when the owner is the divine, when entire ownership of everything is the divine, then what is there? Divine has to break, divine will break. He'll break the bonds, he'll make bonds, he'll do whatever he wants. That is why it is many in the bhakti tradition, they say, God, you are crazy. Like they say, gods must be crazy. There was a movie that way. That's something like that. Vithala tu Veda Kumbhar. Oh, Vithala, you are a mad potter. Why? Because you use these elements. The five elements, you play with the five elements to create a pot. And the interesting aspect is each pot is different. Some pots are big, some pots are small. That is fine. But even in same size, you see, all are unique. Forget whether they are unique or not. Their fates are also unique. Some pot gets the chance to keep butter. Another pot is getting heated fire at the base. What is this game? What are you getting from this? Is what the poet asks there, the seeker, the composer of that Bhakti Geet. He says, what are you getting from all of this? What calculations are you doing? I don't understand. You're just, and he declares you are mad. Because some pots, in some you are lovingly playing, giving a beautiful shape. Some you are not satisfied, then you're breaking it. Means you are the one who is caressing with love also, and you are giving one big, strong whack also. What is it? What is coming from it? So, no, I never understand because we are not in that consciousness. Until we reach there, we will not understand. Until we get the higher consciousness, and that will come from detachment. When we get that detachment, then, as how Sant Tukaram had said, Vishvate Maze Ghara, this world is my home. Who is going to push me out of the home? Which home am I belonging to? Which home am I leaving? Which home am I joining when everything is one? That understanding is so essential. So, all this can happen only when we do yajna, is what Krishna is saying. So, somewhere our yajna is not complete, that's why we are suffering. Somewhere we are still holding on. And Krishna says, accept those actions that are done in a state of sacrifice without expecting something in return. Only karma bandhanas. You will keep adding to the baggage. You can't take flight. Even in flight, you have a limited baggage which you can carry. So what about flight of higher consciousness? If you carry too much baggage, you will be denied. You will be denied a chance to fly. So for that, we'll have to say कि boss, you are the owner, no? सारा सामान तुम्हें रख लो. We don't need to worry about it. You keep it, you take care your positions. I will just do my duty as best as I can. So with this, I think we can complete. I would request Chitraji to give a summary, after which if any questions are there, we'll look at them.
Hari Om. So we saw that Arjuna here asks Krishna that if spiritual knowledge is considered to be superior than a material world action, why is that one has duties to perform in a material world? And Arjuna asks Krishna to show the path, which leads us to the question if the material world is different from a spiritual world. And Krishna explains that state of detachment cannot be reached without performing the necessary action. It is to be noted that inaction does not mean a state of detachment. Sometimes actions are not performed because of the fears or something. It's not a state of detachment. So Krishna explains that a state of detachment cannot be reached without performing the action. So, higher states of the truth or realization can be attained by performing duties or the actions that are assigned. And there is no moment that goes by without performing any action. So, um, so one has to perform all his duties and works in a detached manner, and such a person's action is considered to be a worthier one. And all the actions that are performed are bound to karma bandhanas, except those are that are performed in a state of detachment or the state of sacrifice, where there is one is not attached to the fruit of the action. So, hence, the aspect of mukta sangha can be reached when actions are performed in such a detached way. So, these were some of the important things that we saw today.
Thank you very much, Chitraji. If anybody wants to ask or share something, you're welcome, or we conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Yes, sir.
You spoke about a sansari and a yogi in one person together. One example that comes to mind is Raja Janak, Sitaji's father.
Yes.
He was a yogi, but still sansari and performing all his duties.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was very much surrounded by wealth without the slightest desire for wealth. And that is why his beautiful kingdom was so nice. Everybody enjoyed it there because they got view. It's like it is something which, if a king or a ruler or even a politician does not have any such desires, no, for self, then that politician can become a good politician because he's not worrying about only family members. And then the people get benefited. Absolutely.
So one question I have: how to differentiate between attachment and love, especially taking an example of a mother caring for her child.
Ha.
So when mother cares for the child, it's is attachment not very natural?
Yeah, but sometimes the one mother had shared her experience in a Gita work previously. She said that she was very protective of her child and out of care only, no? Mother's child is always the most his favorite, so he has to care. But now what happened was the child was going on a cycle, practicing and learning the cycle, and the child fell from the cycle, and the mother screamed out because she was so attached to that child. She said the child had a look of horror on the face, and that horror was fear for the mother, and even more than the wound that the child got. And there she had tears while she was sharing because it was her realization that time that see this is attachment which was coming. I thought I'm giving love, but now I'm adding a little bit more. Means this is something which what is required. Means sometimes allow a child to little bit falls, some small falls will allow the child to get up. But when you are so attached that no, 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 this cannot happen at all because but that irrational, isn't it? That's but that irrationality becomes when you are attached, you cannot think about anything. So for that we have to practice detachment only. Understand that, yes, let it be, let it be. Let my child fall a few times, but child will rise. That does not mean that is why Mukta Sangha, which we say, no? Meaning the mother should be little bit distant from some distance away, so that the child feels confident of going. But mother should not be so far away the child is now going to the main road and the mother is just watching. Take a job. That is indifference. That is coldness. Means the mamatva or mamta of the mother can never be lost. But the mother should learn what is required. Sometimes mother has to play a difficult role also, isn't it? She has to stand up. Sometimes for the child also she has to stand up. Sometimes she has to take a decision and speak something which is not according to her nature. Out of attachment, she cannot forgo, no, no, I cannot. Then it will teach the same thing to the child, isn't it? To stand and bear injustice. Sometimes the mother has to scold the child also. Just because I'm attached, the mother cannot walk. So it's a thin line. It's everywhere actually. And probably we have to become aware because many times we realize little bit later only after doing a mistake when we are not aware. So, but at least we can learn from mistakes if we are ready to learn. Otherwise, punarapi janama, punarapi marana, punarapi dosha. Mistakes keep happening and we don't change. Like my friend got a beautiful experience of detachment after 5 unsuccessful relationships because he kept thinking that something is wrong with the other person once, other person twice. But after so many times, acha, there is something wrong with me only. Why am I blaming
Then
everybody
he
else?
realized it.
Yeah, I realized then. But that is possible after, but it shouldn't happen like that, no? If we can learn from becoming aware. Yeah, yeah. That's what we have to do. And that is why we have to be alert. Because as Krishna says, even the best amongst us get trapped because of our mind. So we should sometimes tell our mind only, I don't mind. Leave it. Yes. So I think, yes, sir. All right. So with this, I think we can probably conclude today's session with the Shanti mantra. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. सर्वे
Sarve
भद्राणि
Bhadrantu.
पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्ण वन्दे जगद्गुरु पुनर्मिलामः
Hari
we
Om.
meet again Hari Om ji we meet again day
Hari
after
Om.
tomorrow
Hari Om.
Thank you.
namaste
Hari Om.
Bye.
Hari Om
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om